things have taken a major turn for a big Buccaneers role player. There was an injury that occurred Saturday night where there's going to be some ramifications. Contract year for this player where he's really trying to be on the field as much as possible. So we'll be talking about what this means for that position on our team and how he'll be able to get on the field and really get back to form. I'm Sebastian with Buccaneers Digest. Welcome back, guys. Make sure to subscribe. We hit the thousand subscriber mark, but 95% of y'all are still not subscribed. But that's okay. All you gotta do is hit the bell, hit the button, join the Bucs Digest, and you'll be here with us and on this journey. But what's going on right now is that we have an injury update that's maybe not the best thing in the world because there's a player that a lot of us are familiar with. He started in the Brady year, the final Brady year, and that is Rachaad White. He had a groin injury, as Todd Bowles reported. He referred to Rachaad as day to day on Sunday, and he's sitting out this practice, being it's Wednesday today, with his groin injury. Running back Owen Wright, who Bowles said was sore after Saturday's game, is back to work. Owen was the running back who scored one of the touchdowns. Sean Tucker was the other running back who scored the other touchdown. So okay. So that means we've got a little smaller of a running back room. Not the best thing you want to hear in the world. I know Owen Wright had a couple touchdowns called back before he finally got one that worked out. So some people would be like, oh look, like we have like a running back who's like really making a lot of plays. That's fair. I don't want to be too harsh on Owen Wright. Personally, when I was at the game, I wasn't seeing a ton from him, being able to break tackles, make cuts, and just make moves, be able to get downfield. He hit holes pretty well. Like the offensive line was actually performing pretty well, and they would open up some gaps for him to run through. And when those occurred, he did hit them pretty fast and pretty hard, so that he would scamper off for a touchdown. Of course, there'd be some holding penalties, so some of those didn't count. But the one that did count, it was another awesome hole by the offensive line that he was able to run through. But at the same time, most of the other game, most of the rest of the game, Owen wasn't really standing out for me, and I think it's easy to see a big touchdown run that he had at the end of the game and assume he had a good game. But that's just from my observations, watching the game there. Now, when regards to Rachaad, he is on his fourth year now. He's going into his fourth year. He took the reins from Leonard Fournette in his first season back in 2022, and that was an interesting time where Leonard had kind of fallen off, but Rachaad was really on the up and up, and our running game was really not good back then, and it's now we've resurged to being one of the better running back rooms in the league, and Rachaad is a big part of that. Just because Bucky Irving is now one of the best running backs in the league doesn't take away that Rachaad was part of this room that really helped elevate the offense. And he's still, a lot of people would argue, our best pass catching running back, out of the backfield or even, running short routes downfield. He's very good for that type of stuff. So to have him have a groin injury, it's maybe not the most encouraging thing. He's the biggest running back on our roster. The rest of the guys are honestly much more smaller and stouter, but there's Rachaad has length to him, and longer arms. That's why he is so good at catching passes. So that's just kind of like the concern there is, will our passing game be affected by this? Now, groin injuries, they are week to week. They're not like or day to day, and then can become week to week. Just depending on the severity of it. I saw that was a grade 2 groin injury, and so people say that could be like about a month of recovery time for Rachaad. So he could be missing like game 1 of the regular season. Very likely he will not be playing week 2 of preseason. We'll see if he's able to make it to week 3 of preseason, getting any playing time there. That'd be encouraging, but considering where I saw he was like hobbling off the field. They were trying to help him out while he was laying on the ground on the sideline, but obviously that's just not something that could happen immediately, not help that could happen immediately. So that's just, he's still not practicing, and it's probably not going to be that way. But Rachaad, earlier this offseason, he posted on Instagram saying like one last ride, for the Bucs. People are inferring that, okay, does this mean Rachaad's kind of saying he doesn't want to be with the Bucs anymore? This is very similar vibes, in my opinion, to Devin White when he was in his contract year with the Buccaneers. And we all know that kind of didn't go very well. He made it very public that, he wasn't happy with the contract negotiations with the Buccaneers or just the relationship there. I believe he even requested a trade at one point. But, in the end, and there was just a recent article from The Athletic for Jason Licht. He mentioned that he actually regretted the pick with Devin White back in 2019, I believe. And, it is what it is. Devin might have had a more like me personality, very not self-obsessed, but you know what I mean. Like he was very much about like this persona that he was building for himself. And I don't see that as much with Rachaad, but at the same time, it's frustrating when your starting role is taken from you by, a rookie sensation like Bucky Irving. But this is the NFL. Competition is constant. You never know when your job's going to be in jeopardy. There's like Tony Romo didn't know he was going to get replaced by Dak Prescott as soon as he did. Mahomes replacing Alex Smith. Like, those are quarterbacks, obviously, but running backs, it's even there's the turnover rate is even higher. And so Rachaad has, a lot to prove this season, whether he's going to be with the Bucs next year or on another team. He wants to be able to really put on a show so he can get a good second contract. And a groin injury is probably not the way he wanted to start things off. So that's just kind of something to keep in mind. That's where his mindset is, and that's where he is contract-wise. That he's going into his last year, and he's already talking about a one last ride. We did bring in another running back for training camp this week, and Todd Bowles had to say that it'll be great to see him. His last name is Williams. I don't have his first name right now, but it'll be great to see him under the lights. He's missed some time right now, so he's got some catching up to do. So he's a guy we were high on coming in, so he'll be a guy we're interested in seeing on Saturday night. That's good. He's a kind of another body, as some would say, which isn't the nicest thing in the world to say, but at the same time, they're necessary. We can't just run Bucky Irving and Sean Tucker out there for the whole game, and we're especially not Bucky. We can't risk losing Bucky in a preseason game. But Sean can't play a whole preseason game by himself. Owen's still a little sore from Saturday night, so Williams is just another player that we're bringing in. I mean, obviously, Bowles was kind of speaking highly of him, that they've had their eye on him for a little bit. So it's just going to keep bringing in competition there. But that's just, that's just the nature of training camp, the nature of preseason. There's always going to be new guys coming in, old guys leaving, getting cut. It's just a constant rotation of competition, and but it's good. And I think the fact that we have talented running backs in this room will breed success. Iron sharpens iron, as we all know. So who knows when we will find another stud? The scouting team of the Bucs is heralded as one of the best in the league for a reason. So we could probably pick up some guy from the streets or being just an undrafted free agent, and he ends up being a stud just because the Bucs are very good at that stuff. We'll see what he's able to do Saturday night or how much he plays, because he just joined the team or joined practice this week, and they're doing joint practices with the Steelers now. So it's like we'll see how much playing time he gets. But overall, Rachaad being out it's not helping his case, because now there's more guys coming in and getting more playing time, and he's going to try and get on the field as soon as possible, but you never know. And Sean Tucker is kind of the other name worth noting. He had a really good game Saturday night. I was really impressed with some of the long runs and screens he was doing, and Sean is really going to be making the case for RB2 right behind Bucky Irving. He, like we said, not the biggest body, Not like a crazy pass catcher or anything like that, but has great speed, great acceleration, great flexibility. He can, move around a lot and, change direction of field pretty quickly. And is just, sneaky elusive. I mean, he won't break a ton of tackles, but he's also good at like high stepping and, you know, getting around guys who are doing like dive tackles and stuff. So that's what I like about Sean. He's like another Bucky Irving, maybe not as good as Bucky, but Sean has very similar skill sets as to Bucky, so they just complement each other very well. The only reason why we'll be missing Rachaad more is the passing game, bigger body. You could argue, but he's a bit slower than the other guys. So it's just kind of the name of the game. I mean, Rachaad will stiff arm guys like Bucky can. I don't know if I've seen Sean Tucker do that, but I don't want to say he can't. I'm always open to being surprised. And anyway, that's kind of what I've gotten from the Rachaad injury, is that he is kind of on his heels right now, and we're not sure if we'll be seeing him, down the line. But overall, I think we'll be seeing him this season, but I mean down the line is like next season. So you tell me down below in the comments, what are your expectations for Rachaad White this season? Do you expect him to ball out, or are you expecting kind of a quiet season and him to kind of peter off? Do you see him having a big role in this offense, or is it kind of the end of Rachaad's tenure with Tampa, and we'll be kind of saying goodbye to him? I might be leaning that way a little bit. But doesn't mean he can't surprise me. I'd love to be shocked. But you let me know down below, what are your expectations for Rachaad White, and do you think he has a good season in him left for this year? But yeah, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to comment down below, like all that stuff, and stay tuned for all things Buccaneers. I will see y'all in the next video.